came in talking about what he was talking about. Just,
Benefit of thin walls, man.
good show, man. I love it, man.
Dude, I appreciate being here.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
So we're live on Facebook now.
Nice.
So, of course, Facebook, YouTube, you know what we do here. I can't really hear myself that well. Test 1 2.
Test. There we are.
So there we are.
Oh, where am I? Where am I?
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Pop. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test. There I am. Test 1 2.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Check. Go ahead, Elijah.
Check 1 2. Check.
Yeah.
Check 1 2 3.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
Check it out.
So I'm gonna. You'll hear us loop back through because I'm checking the sound through Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna sound weird. It probably drive you crazy. It does, Colin, every single week.
Oh man, I can't stand it.
But it's a necessary evil because Facebook doesn't give us opportunity to check the sound before we go live. So I can see that the mics and the cameras fed into Facebook correctly, but I can't hear it until we actually hit live. So our audience has come to expect this always happens.
This little intermission.
This little intermission thing.
This little pre-show.
It'll be like over and over again.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
I went the first episode I watched. I noticed that because I went back on YouTube and I was watching through them and I was like, I don't know
what the hell is going on?
I don't know what's going on with this. So I just skipped like 10 minutes in. I was like, I'm not.
I can't hear the. Hold on.
He's already fucked something up.
No, it's again. That's why we. Oh, here we go. I can't. There we go. I can't hear the.
Okay, what was it? It's gone again. He's already fucked something up.
Test one. It's again. That's why we. Oh, here we go.
Do you ever feel weirded out?
There we go. I can't hear the.
Okay, what was it?
Never get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing it for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, so. That makes sense.
But in the beginning, you hate the sound. I hate the sound of my voice. Can't stand it.
This is Scott.
This is Colin. And we are Two Rational Bastards.
All right, Facebook, there's our live check and test one. There we go. Let's see, I'm going to start the audio portion here in just a second. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of Two Rational Bastards, broadcasting live from Rose Garden Studios, just north of Nashville, Tennessee. Broadcasting live every Tuesday, or a day around that point. Sometimes we have
somewhere around there,
right? On Facebook Live. Come join us there. Comment, share, like, cuss us out, whatever you want to do. YouTube, there, comment there. Come over as well. Podcast version drops the same day. That's it. I'm your host, Scott.
It's Colin.
We got a special guest we're going to announce in here in just a little bit. Colin, man, dude. So last week we didn't address, and I feel kind of terrible about not kind of addressing this, the horrific event that happened in New York. The people getting run over on the bike path.
Yeah.
Classified as a terrorist event. The guy pledges allegiance to ISIS and all that, and then people say, well, we could have stopped him from coming into the country. He was here before.
Come on, man.
Well, not only that, he was here before ISIS was a thing. So how do you, you don't,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those, it's a horrific thing. Then we have the thing.
Bad people come in all shapes and sizes.
Right.
You're going to get extremists from every walks of life.
Yeah.
So chill.
Absolutely. And then,
it's a tragedy. Let's focus on the fact that there was lives that were taken and we need to focus on that for once.
Absolutely.
Instead of trying to figure out what we should have and could have.
You should have, would have, could have, yeah. And then we have the horrific event that happened in the church in Texas. 26 people shot and killed.
I'm ashamed because I was talking to someone. I was like, they had someone was in Texas or something. I was just like, man, I wonder what's going on in Texas, because the last time we heard about Texas tragedy would be the flooding.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it was doing better. It's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of dead people. I was like, and from mud? What happened? And then it's just like, no, there was a shooting. I was like, another shooting? What's going on?
Well, and I don't know. I haven't read the details on exactly what occurred and what the motivation was. I don't know if they know yet. Maybe they do. If there's somebody in the audience, hey, Gary, thanks. Welcome, brother. Again, we got some other people in. I don't see their names yet pop up, but welcome everybody that's joined in. But, I don't know what the motivation is. Maybe there's new information on that now. I don't know which really, does it really matter what the motivation is? It's about trying to recognize if this is somebody that was mentally disturbed, there's got to be other mechanisms in place in society to help those people, and then also not access to weapons. Of course, then that brings up the question again about gun control. And unfortunately, the gun control laws are controlled by the people that are controlled by the gun control lobbyists.
Exactly.
So we won't even talk about that. We did an episode on that,
yeah.
But that's not what this show is going to be about.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's an unfortunate thing, and that's not the thing to really focus on.
Well, the golden rule is the people that have the goal make the rules.
That's right. And, and the thing, too, is, it's easy to automatically go to that place. We need gun control. Let's focus on, the people that...
The system in place right now,
yeah.
And the people, holding people accountable for being bad people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if you're making bad decisions, let's focus on that for a minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's easy to sit here and say, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and yes, the gun laws aren't going to change. That's the truth.
Yeah,
that's
it's not going to change what just happened. So,
right.
So like you say, I think focusing on, and I'll let you get back to that. What I thought of is focus on what currently we have at hand, meaning focus on the families that are affected by this, focus on the family of the shooter. There are other things to look at right now. Now, let's not forget when things come to the congressional floor to do some changes with gun law. Let's remember these things if we can. But I've said this before. When America decided it was okay to kill kids in Sandy Hook, the whole deal was over. There's not going to be a change in gun law. I don't feel in our lifetime. So let's try to focus on what we currently have in place as far as gun control, and try to find a way to not allow those type of people to get weapons. Of course, we understand there's a criminal element. You're going to get them and get them.
Right.
But some of those people may not be able to have access to weapons of that kind.
Well,
so
I don't know if you guys have seen yet, but the guy, I forget his name, that committed it, he actually used to be in the Air Force, and he had a history of domestic violence. He beat his wife. I think he fractured his stepson's skull
didn't know
or
that.
something. So
Did you know that?
I just read this like a day ago. So he technically, because he had this history of violence, was not supposed to get a gun.
Yeah.
But when he was discharged from the Air Force, they did not process that he had committed those. He was dishonorably discharged. So it was a paper mistake where he shouldn't have been able to allow these.
See, so
anyway.
that shows you there. In this case, the gun laws we have in place would have protected that.
Yeah,
would have kept that from happening.
That's what I was going to say. That
it's a failure in our current system that it wasn't reported correctly, and that's
it's so hard because what can you do about that?
Yeah, and then we're it's just a random this little town outside of San Antonio. You're like, what the hell? I mean, and this is kind of a cliche thing, kind of to say, but you think, well, God, if it can happen there, it literally can happen anywhere.
We just had a church shooting down in South Nashville a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That happened too.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of, but
I don't know all the details.
There's these church shootings that are just happening.
Well, the irony in that, and I wasn't going to mention it, but I had a gun pulled on me.
Oh yeah,
on Sunday.
I didn't even think about that. Welcome, Angie.
It's one of those things where you have people that are making decisions to do things that are coward-esque, and there's nothing you can do to prepare for that.
No,
you're irrational. You're upset. You're mad. Whatever the case may be, you're losing control over your emotions, and you're reacting. You're reenacting something that maybe triggered you last time, and this time maybe you feel like you're going to do something about it. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you make a decision that affects people's lives, no pun intended, like you're killing people.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, this person had already been evaluated, and you can't miss that.
The system failed.
Let the system work by at least doing, push your paper a little bit so you can at least, save some people maybe.
Absolutely. Well, it's unfortunate, and we have to address those things on the show. We try not to get too deep on a lot of things because many things lead to a political discussion. We try not to make that the show, but it happens sometimes.
Everyday politics is a thing.
And funny, I do have a story, and it's not meant to be. This is more about just something else about social media and the impact. But in any case, we always start a little bit different there. We always start with a quote, and this was Eleanor Roosevelt said this. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people.
That hurts.
That's some good stuff right there. Okay. I'll read that again. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people.
Wow.
That's powerful right now.
Wow,
right?
Each thing gets less and less about the moment of the individual. It's like, I'm not even a person. I'm going to talk about other people. Like I'm not even in the equation anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Eleanor Roosevelt said that. That's amazing. So a couple of things. We always tend to hit sports. I mean, I think I probably watch more sports than you do, Colin. But we hit it. But you always have an opinion on it because you follow it. So the Titans won.
Barely.
the Titans won again, and a lot of people are weird. They're upset about the win. I mean, a win is a win in the NFL. If you win, I don't care if you're beating the worst. They're still professional athletes. They're the best of the best.
Right.
So they won 23-20. Great win for them. The Vols finally won, which of course I don't give a damn about because I'm a Bama fan. But 24-10, they beat Southern Miss. So I don't know how great. I mean, it is a win, but I mean. You talk about a huge level of talent difference, and the score was only 14
everything
points.
You just said was in Swahili to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't keep up with scores, but
it's like, did somebody get married, or is somebody just trying to win a jumping contest?
How many baskets did they make in the football game? That's what I'm wondering.
How many goals did they score? Yeah. So Melinda Haynes Smith, she said she loves that quote. We do too. It's an amazing quote.
I love it.
The Memphis Tigers won. They beat Tulsa 41-14. And then, of course, my beloved Cowboys beat the Kansas City Chiefs 28-10. And then Bama won. Beat LSU. They're playing some good ball right now, man. So, anyway,
without Romo,
so let me. I've got two. I got two things here, and then we'll introduce our guests, and then feel free to plug in.
Cool.
When you want. So this was a quote from a viewer listener. This was on episode 15. This was a listener, Ginger Marie. Episode 15, the title was The Eclipse. We talked about that. We talked about the Titans. The year that was 1979, that was your thing. It was really cool about all the events and things that occurred in 79. We talked about a low GI diet, zinc and copper, the Church of Satan, and what is sin.
Ooh,
You got to listen to 15.
I'm
So-
going to go home and listen to
Yeah,
that one.
listen to that. So here's what she said. Dang, how did I not find this site earlier? The nutritional benefit information is over the top. A testament to you, Colin. I can't wait to get on zinc and copper regimen, dealing with thyroid and age. Not that age is an issue. I would be curious to see how my health changes. I couldn't see the brand of the supplement, what's the name, and where are the places it can be purchased. You'll know the brands better, but I just said go to Vitamin Shop and speak with the store manager. They're usually versed. But share
it's Solar.
That's right, Solar.
It's not zinc and copper separately. It's zinc and copper and it's combined. It's 15 milligrams of zinc and it's 0.2 micrograms of copper. So I'm just going to tell you, if you take too much, that's a daily dose, right? So if you're trying to push the envelope, and there's a couple of doctors out there, Dr. Tent and I can't remember the other guy, but they're just like, yeah, you want to take mega doses of minerals and and then you do that, you'll end up like me. I was at the pancake is it pantry?
Pantry.
I was at the pancake pantry, and I'm in there eating up syrup and pancakes and bacon. And all of a sudden, my stomach said, "Hell!" I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" I was out in the dining area for 15 minutes of the hour. The rest of that hour was in the bathroom. So don't take mega doses. Well, at least of zinc and copper, man. It'll take you down through there. But when you take the amount that you're supposed to take, which is that ratio I gave you, man, it's amazing. Your hormonal levels will balance, homeostasis or balance, and for women, the elasticity in your tendons and joints is amazing.
Yeah.
And I know on the it's kind of crude, that show that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But you won't, your titties won't be as saggy.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's he speaking code for right now?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
man,
Your titties won't be as saggy.
It's like, I'm trying to grasp what he's saying.
Yeah. So I'll read this story real quick. So lone cyclist responds to POTUS motorcade shortly after departing Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia. Woman who flipped off Trump says she was fired for it. The woman who gave President who gave President Donald Trump's motorcade the finger in late October is speaking out after she says she was fired for the incident that went viral. Julie Briskman, a former member of the marketing team at Akima LLC, was riding her bike as the presidential motorcade passed by, transporting Trump from his golf course back to the White House, which I find irony and funny there because he criticized Obama for playing a lot of golf, and that's pretty much all he's done. So, and he owns golf courses anyway. This is just funny to me.
Hypocrisy, but
Yeah,
what do you expect?
My feet, from the giant Oompa Loompa. My fingers said what I was feeling, Briskman said. I'm angry and I'm frustrated. She flipped off the motorcade twice. I just think it's
Twice.
funny. And after the moment went viral, she told her employer, I thought that I'd probably get back to my company eventually, Briskman said in an interview. She said she was told she had violated the company's social media policy and said the company in turn fired her. I said, well, that was me, recalling her conversation. She didn't, deny it. Let's see here. Briskman says she had been at the company for 6.5 months before the incident and was working in the marketing department. She added that she's really not the bird flipping type. Healthcare doesn't pass, but you try to dismantle it from the inside. 500 people get shot in Vegas. You're doing nothing about it. White supremacists have this big march and hurt a bunch of people down in Charlottesville, and you call them good people. So that's what she was mad about. But that brings up to the larger question. We won't spend a lot of time on this because I really want to get into what he's here for. Is the use of social media,
Right.
and your responsibility in using that. When
Right.
does it blur the line where an employer can fire you or reprimand you for it? It's not in your agreement. Where is that? Then I also think about, we said this before, the dangers of the current president using Twitter as a way of attacking people.
Twitter.
So yeah, so Twitter. So when is that? You know, because he works for the people, right? And so how can and I get this. I mean, a company fire an employee for doing that, but our own president has free will to say
Right.
Make comments that are not rational and you know, things like that. So it's just interesting to me. So be careful, people, I guess, using your social media and how you're going to use it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying, though. I mean, you know you're dealing. She knew she was working for a narcissistic personality. You know, most people that are placed in any sort of limelight like that, like a celebrity or anything, they start to get holier than thou. It's the pretty girl in the room that knows she's the pretty girl in the room and walks around like nothing can happen. You know, like she can do anything, and they're paying me attention anyway. As humans, our goal in life is to feel significant. We want to feel significant. So we want to be paid a certain amount of attention, but you lose yourself in just being paid regardless of your actions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can go from being the person that's being narcissistic to being the person that's a narcissist. Like you can, like every time you use your ego, every time you're being egoic, you're being narcissistic. You're not necessarily a narcissist yet, but when you become addicted to those repetition, that's when it's a problem for you and others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It affects me and it affects you and everybody around, the environment and everything. So if you go through your life not holding yourself accountable for feeling holier than thou, I mean, you know, it's the old saying, Maya Angelou, if you want to grow, you can't pick it up or put it down. You can't make a big deal out of someone talking bad about you or someone coming in and paying you a compliment. You've got to be neutral either way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Well, that's not human. The bottom line is we want to feel significant and we want to be involved with that. But with power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Spider-Man episode 1.
Yeah.
Thanks, Uncle Ben.
Dr. Ben dies. He was a wrestler. In but you have to know that you're going to be narcissistic in your life. But at the same time, you've got to be careful. Because if you go down that road too many times unchecked, you got some Trump shit.
Well, you go and you're trumped. So that again, I mean, where is the line as far as being able to use social media as a platform? Again, if I had a company and somebody, because once you clock out for the day, are you still a representative of the company? So she was on her own time. Again, she's only been there 6 months, so she's dispendable, right?
Yeah.
But still, where is that line? I think for me, if I had a company, they're like, you're free to voice your opinion. That makes you unique in who you are, and I value that because you bring something extra to my company. So, in a way, it's kind of censorship. Okay, you know what I mean?
I don't
go ahead. No, go ahead. No.
Okay, I just want to make one more point. There was a time we were speaking on this off air.
Yeah.
All right. There was a time, I think it was before you arrived, actually, when it was illegal to have duels, right? This was
we were talking about that.
We were talking about that.
Okay. So it was illegal to have duels, but you're going to be allowed to kill someone as long as you go up. My name is Colin Sadler, and I challenge you to a duel with a glove. There was no court at that time that would try you and say you murdered someone. But if you'd have went up to them and just went, you would have, been put in the stocks and killed, hung. The thing is, our society has changed from the time that we did duels to the times you go out at the end of the school day and be like, hey man, you embarrassed me in front of my girlfriend today. I'm going to kick your ass or get my ass kicked on the schoolyard, to fighting, in the streets with a gang, click, click. Warriors come out and play, to, dance. I mean, back in my time, if I want to kick your ass, I'll challenge you to a dance off. Be like, dun, 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 dun.
Like every 80s
but it's mine. You would dance off. And then nowadays, what is it now? How brave are you in front of someone's face? Not very, but people are super brave behind that computer screen. And it's changing a whole narrative, a whole movement of society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we'll say anything. There's more trolls than there is anything else.
Yeah.
People will put dislike just, there's too many likes just for jealousy.
Just for jealousy.
So you have this whole new movement that is changing how people respond to their own lives. I'm walking around downtown and I see people looking and filming more than they're actually having an experience.
Yeah.
You've taken yourself out of the experience by doing that.
They're putting safety things on poles because people are running into poles, looking down at their phone while they walk.
Really?
So
that was a point you made. So I'll let you.
Yeah. So in I think it is in France. I can't remember the country. I have to look this up and put it in the show notes. They're actually putting airbags on the post because people are running because they're not paying attention.
I say give them the consequence. Let them have the knot on their head.
I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. They really are.
There was this lady that fell down last night, fell down in the water. It was raining, fell down, rolled up, dusted her stuff off, stepped back up onto the curb that she fell off of, and started texting, looking down again. Like she was committed to being ridiculous.
So let me give a shout out to a few people. So Ginger joined, the one that I read the quote. Ginger, I don't know if you joined in late or not. I read your comment on episode 15. Thank you so much for joining. Jamie Bradford, thanks for joining. Leslie Thomas, what's up, girl? Thank you for joining. And I still love your profile pic, the mug and the coffee. That's hilarious to me. Anyway, thank you for joining in. But yeah, I think you take yourself out of the experience in the moment. And how many of us think about this? How many pictures and videos you take? How many times you go back and watch it?
Look at those? And even look?
No, I don't.
You don't.
But now I've taken so many, I don't even want to go through and delete them all.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, it's going to take like 15 minutes to do this. I was like, this isn't worth it.
I get it.
I deleted a bunch of pictures one time and my phone shut down. It was like, it bogged down. It was just like for about 10 minutes, I couldn't even use my phone because it was trying to delete them all.
I know. And like anytime my phone says you're running out of space, it's because there's videos and photos I need. It's not anything else. It's the damn videos and photos.
I know.
You need to get a new phone. That'll be my vacation phone.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll move past that. We have a very special guest in house today. Elijah Perkins.
What's up?
Is here. He's going to talk about, since we're a lot of things revolve. We always have a health segment. This is the health segment and more. Because he's going to talk about essential oils today. My knowledge is limited. He's an expert on it, so we're ready to
self-proclaimed expert.
Yeah, we're ready to take in that knowledge and ask questions and learn from you. I mean,
nice.
Here's my knowledge, which is about this much. It could fill up one page in a magazine. So I make an air freshener, right, with lavender oil and peppermint oil. I know that the peppermint oil is a natural pest repellent and distilled water. I make my own deodorant, as we've talked about before. It's coconut oil, baking soda, melaleuca oil, or as we call it, tea tree oil, lavender and patchouli.
They'll have patchouli.
Yeah, they all have natural antibacterial properties, and patchouli is
smell.
Yeah. Well, I got the hair. You just got to match. And then, of course, we all kind of understand the lavender oil benefits. When I do like have a relaxing kind of bath, I always put lavender in there for relaxation and things of that nature. But beyond that, and I do know I've used tea tree oil for cuts and stuff like that, which is phenomenal. Black seed oil is not an essential oil, but we talked about, we had a whole episode on that. So that's about the depth of my knowledge.
Well, for me, the coconut oil, being antiviral, antibacterial, and it has the MCT, medium chain triglycerides. So I like to take that in my coffee to make a coffee bullet so that I can, have some quick energy. MCTs is converted in your liver within 5 minutes. So you get the energy pretty quick. And then I have a almond oil that I put on. It's really great for your skin. And, I have really, really dry skin in the winter, and it really helps out with that. But other than that,
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that both of the oils that you use are great carrier oils, but even the oils that are considered carrier oils have great medical benefits. Like I think that that's interesting, and I actually have a couple oils.
Tell them who you are and all
yeah.
this, how you got into this,
Yeah.
and then that way people know. And here's the thing: we'll have all of his information, contact information, website, any of that kind of stuff in the show notes. Will be there in the show notes. So
Cool.
Take it away, man.
Yeah. So I mean, my name's Elijah Perkins. You guys, Scott's one of my regulars. I also work at Starbucks, so he comes in all the time, and I'd tell him about oils and try to get him to learn a little bit more about it.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. He works at Starbucks. I go into Starbucks a couple of days a week, and I have to go out and get Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
He didn't even
because
bring
his ass came in without the
damn
good.
coffee
I'm
up in
a
here.
guess you guys gonna buy me some.
And I provided you with some homebrewed kombucha too. What the hell?
I know. I actually love this kombucha. It's awesome.
You dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I know. I did. I brought you guys presents. So
Go ahead, Elijah. I'm sorry. So he works at Starbucks, and I come in quite a bit. We got a talk on health one day, and I found out he did the essential oils, and we kind of planted the seed then about, man, we should probably have you on. He followed back up. Thankfully, you did. Yeah. It's not that I was avoiding, but it just so many things. Like, yeah, let's have you on.
Yeah,
so
I was super excited. I've never been on the radio. I was like, yeah, I want to. And everyone always told me I had a good radio voice, so I just wanted to.
They lied. No, I'm just kidding.
They're like, man, you sound like
wow, really? Is that what you're gonna do? That is a horrible priming statement to make, sir.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you have a great voice, actually.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
So Gail Williams, go Elijah. Love the oils.
Oh, that's my oil mama actually.
Mama.
She does classes with me up there in Glenbrook, Hendersonville area. It's actually interesting. My mom is the one that got me into essential oils. Yeah. I used to not believe in them, not do them at all. Like 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, my mom, she would have a little box of oil, kind of like this. I keep them in a little carrying box.
Right.
And she would have these oils, and we just use them for fragrance. Just use them for aroma. She'd use them for like worship and meditation, whatever. She'd be at church, and she'd just have her little box. And then people would come up back then. They'd be like, "Hey, what can I use for this? Where can I buy some oils?" And we'd be like, "Go get your own. Like, this is ours. We don't
These
sell
are mine.
I know. Like, go get your own. I don't want it." But so she just started using them, and then we started realizing that they had a medical benefit. Yeah. When my youngest sister was born, and she was like 2 or 3. And she started developing terrible allergies. Like she was allergic to grass and cats and carpet and dust and wood and air and corn syrup. She was allergic to corn syrup and being like,
wow.
That's
it's in everything.
Yeah. So she would get these allergic reactions. And one thing that happened one time, she got a reaction so bad. We were at church, spent a lot of time there, and like she was playing with the glitter, and glitter got up on her face. And she had a reaction to where the whites of her eyes started swelling up over the colors of her eyes. So we had to rush her to the
from the glitter.
Yeah, from the glitter.
That is
she got it like all up, kind of near her eyes and stuff. And so we thought she was going blind. We're like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do about this? And we went to the emergency room a couple times and spent money.
Sure.
Just it's expensive, like $1,500, and we're like, geez, like this sucks. Yeah. But then we went to this holistic chiropractor guy, and he was in Goodlettsville. I forget his name. Wish I could give him a plug, but he was in Goodlettsville. And he was like, we need to get her on a detox. We need to get her on a detox because she's allergic to all this stuff. Whole foods, vegetables, fruits, meats, like that's it.
Right.
And so we did that for like 6 months. And then we started introducing oils. So whenever she'd have an allergic reaction, we take lavender oil.
Yeah.
And just take it and put it directly under her eyes. It's got great anti-inflammatory benefits as well as like relaxing. Right. So we take the lavender and put it directly under her eyes when she started to get that breakout, and it'd go away. So, so I saw that it'd go away in like 20 minutes. So instead of spending $1,500 at the emergency room, we spent $24 for several months of relief. But I mean, it was so bad with her on the point before we started using the oils. We were using like Allegra, I forget the other one, Claritin or whatever.
Oh yeah, that Claritin's horrible.
We were using all that sort of stuff, and it was to the point where we would be using this for like a couple months. We'd use Allegra for a couple months, and her body would get used to it, And so then it wouldn't work anymore.
Mhm.
So then we'd have to switch back to Claritin.
Yeah, sure.
And her body would just build up this immunity. So we'd have to switch her
Exactly.
meds, and it was awful. She was taking pills every day, and she's like 6. She just wants to go outside and pet her cats, but she couldn't.
Right.
And then we just had a friend, like, she was like, hey, I know you guys are using oils for medical benefits. I've got a really, really good oil. And it's doTERRA. That's what I work for. That's what I'm really passionate about. I'm a wellness advocate for doTERRA.
Mhm.
And I've been using oils for like 2 years now, and I haven't been to the doctor since.
That's amazing. So
yeah.
here, Brenda Casas,
Casas.
Elijah is the best teacher, is what she said. So thank you, Brenda. He must have paid you well before he.
Yeah, I
came
know.
on this.
We're good friends. Did a couple of favors. It's
Yeah.
great. I love Brenda.
So talk about your, obviously you had personal experience. So that you're able to tell that story. Obviously you have personal experience with
Mhm.
that. Obviously helps with your, success of doTERRA. But what led you into, getting into this and really getting passionate, other than that story when you got in? What makes these essential oils any different than I order on Amazon, some off brand or anything like that? Tell me.
Or Walgreens.
Oh,
Yeah, Walgreens, yeah.
Well, I mean, just from personal experience using Walgreens oil, it sucks. I mean, just
So
honestly.
listen to this. Gail post, but she said, "This is your real mama sitting beside Gail, looking good." Yeah, you use oils.
Yeah.
So you're-
Yeah, that's my mom. She's the oil doctor. If any question that I don't know about oils, she knows, and she's my witch doctor mama. She got me into it.
Which Dr. Mama. Before you go further, though, like, what happened with the little girl?
Oh yeah, when we started using oils, switched her food, and she went through a period of a couple months of detoxing.
Right.
It's just like when you switch to homeopathic deodorant after
Right.
using regular. You go through a detox where you really stink
yes,
for like a couple weeks.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then your body finally gets out all the toxins and you can use it right. And that's what she did. She was really, really sensitive for a couple weeks. Of course, we have carpeted floors. We had to take up some of those floors in her room, switch to hardwood, really keep her inside and use the oils. And now she doesn't even get the allergic reactions anymore. She can go outside and pet the cats.
That's
So
what I was
it's a
hoping.
good balance of nutrition, but also using these naturally. So you've
Yep.
we know food is thy medicine, right? And then you've got the essential oils that help counterbalance what would be given in a lab created drug, synthetic drug.
Well, like Scott, he started using the deodorant, the natural deodorant, and deodorant, all of it has aluminum in it.
Yeah, aluminum.
And it's it blocks a lot of things in your immune system. And it's so funny because like, I haven't been able to find something natural that works. But when you said you put the sodium bicarbonate or the baking soda in there, I was like, oh my God, that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
And I tried a baking soda natural,
Yeah.
and dude, it's
Well, because
awesome.
you got to think what it's doing pH wise, right?
Right.
To your skin, and then you have the antibacterial benefits of the other essential oils.
Yep.
It's a great, and you're still gonna sweat, but you're supposed to sweat.
Yeah,
You're supposed to sweat.
you don't want
supposed
to block
It's not
that
an
out.
antiperspirant.
Yeah,
It's a deodorizer.
Those
Yeah.
antiperspirants are poison, I swear. I've got a friend, I'm not going to name names, but he actually gets steroid injections
to
not sweat. And I'm just like, dude,
Yeah,
don't you want to live a
Right.
little bit?
And then some
Come
people
on,
they'll
man.
put Botox
Mhm.
shots, and I'm just like, you're eliminating something that is supposed to happen. But all right,
Yeah.
do your thing.
I mean-
Yeah, so your mother got you involved with doTERRA, and then once you I want to dive a bit more
So
in what
makes them different?
Yeah, what makes them so much better? Obviously, you're an advocate because you sell it, but there's a reason why, because you're not the kind of guy that would hook yourself onto a company for the compensation piece of it. You've got to really believe in the product.
Oh, yeah.
So what is it
definitely.
that's so different about doTERRA that is going to be more beneficial for us?
Well, I mean, first off, like you said, definitely the testimonies and personal experience I had. People ask me why doTERRA, why doTERRA. Simple reason: it works. That's one of the things that I just keep going back to. It works. Also, it's interesting with doTERRA because oils are not regulated by the
Right.
FDA, so we have to really be careful. That's why I wouldn't go to Walgreens and get an oil and then put it on my cut,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't ingest it. especially ingest it if I don't know where it's coming from, or if I don't know it's coming from a safe company. doTERRA, they have a set standard that they've created because they have several experts that have been in the essential oil business for a long time, and they do third-party testing. So what they do is when they're going to get their oil, they actually source it from wherever it grows naturally. Like Scott and I, we could grow, we could say we want to start an oil business. We're like, hey, we want to grow some peppermint and lavender.
Yeah.
We could go up to Portland and buy a field and grow some peppermint and lavender, and it'd probably be okay. But because soil content's different, peppermint and lavender do not grow naturally here in Tennessee.
No. Yeah.
Where do they grow naturally? Well, peppermint grows in Washington State, and lavender grows in France. So doTERRA is like, we know that these are not grown here, and it's not going to be as potent or as pure or as effective as where it grows naturally. So they go and they actually source oil from all over the world where it grows naturally.
Oh, wow.
So like France are going to get from, or lavender they're going to get from France.
Teacher
Melaleuca
oil from Australia,
where the Aborigines just started using it. And they actually go and they really empower the communities, where, because most of these places are third world country, like frankincense from Somalia, which
I had no idea.
Nothing except for frankincense is in Somalia. It's just like desert.
And great people.
They're awesome. They're awesome frankincense farmers in Somalia. But I mean, like, they will go, and they actually, doTERRA came and they completely connected the tribes for like the first time in 400 years, because it was all tribal communal living. And they were selling their frankincense to insurance companies and third-party middlemen. Frankincense came and got rid of those and actually connected the tribes and started getting the frankincense business rolling in Somalia. So I really love that. I love the moral aspect of doTERRA. Right. But I really like that. It's called, their standard of testing is called CPTG, which means Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And I mean, I've had people that tell me,
who does that? I mean, is it a third?
doTERRA has come up with the testing itself.
Wow.
But they actually test it at the place where they source it. So they'll source it. They'll have their little distillery there, and they'll test it, and then they'll send it back to doTERRA corporate, which is in Utah. Mormons.
Yeah.
And so
crazy Mormons. And they're crazy underwear.
I mean, I went there and I've seen their corporate testing and they're like their labs and stuff, and I think there must just be like a lack of women there, because everywhere I went, they just said more men. I don't know. My dad came up with that. I know.
That's a good dad joke. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use it, though.
No, but they test it there, and then they actually send it to a he's very unbiased, and he tests all brands of essential oil. His name is Dr. not David Hill. It is Dr. Pappas. Dr. Pappas. And he works at Indiana University, and he tests every batch of oil. And if it does not meet the requirements and standards that doTERRA came up with it for itself, they throw it out. Like, I mean, they've taken big bats of like frankincense or an oil that's very expensive and very
throwing it out because it didn't meet the standards.
Because it didn't meet the standards. And I've gone.
Well, no, what they did.
I love that.
What they did is they sold it to Walgreens.
They sold it to Walgreens.
Walgreens wishes.
And what Walgreens did is they took the vat and then they dumped about 5 times as much olive oil in there to kind of put it down, dilute it.
Makes perfect sense. We're trying to make his money.
Yeah, I know.
I love that they have integrity. There's not a lot of companies that are like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Money changes everything.
That's the thing. Most companies would be like, okay, how can we salvage this and use it? Like, no, it doesn't meet our standards. It's got to go. I don't care what you do with it once it goes out our doors, but it doesn't go in our bottles.
I bet you they destroy it.
I think they just dump it out. I'm not 100% sure about that, but if I was them, I would just dump it out.
So talk about, so you got into, what was it? All those things, obviously, but some other things that got you really said, doTERRA is my thing. Obviously, I have a personal story. The company has integrity. You got to go to an event.
Yeah, I've gotten to go out to doTERRA corporate twice.
So tell me about what it was. Your first time when you walked away and you had that moment. You're like, aha, this is it. What was that? What?
Well, it starts a little bit with my why. I don't know if you've ever listened to like Simon Sinek.
Absolutely, come on.
Or like I'm just reading. I always like reading and listening to guys like that. I like reading Napoleon Hill
and our show because
and I know you guys started talking about like limiting beliefs a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, I'm so excited. I was reading Napoleon Hill this morning before I came. So but when I went there, I went to their corporate office. And I went on a VIP weekend, which is where they're just taking people and they're just showing them all about the company. They're showing them the leadership offices. They're showing them the executives, the founders, and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, man, I just feel like a family there.
Yeah.
I feel like that this is where it is. And back to my why is not about the money in doTERRA.
Mhm.
My why is not about creating my own business. My why is about helping people.
Yeah.
And when I give someone an oil, because it always happens, when I give someone an oil and they'll text me or they'll call me in a couple of days and they'll be like, hey, that actually helped.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, my daughter can.
It's like a dope dealer.
Yeah, I know. They're like, hey, man, that hit was awesome.
That's good. Yeah, I need some more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And here it comes with this little medicine chip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. I'm probably going to destroy this. Root Banks.
Yeah.
She's Elijah. Hands up. Shaylee from Utah.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of your oil dealers on.
It's a whole network, man.
Yeah. So I think that's a great way, because if you look at others as a dollar sign or a money proposition, you're going to be screwed from the beginning. I think your whole goal is I just want to educate and help people and show them there's a natural and better way to do things that they need to do. And if the money will come, and if I have to be compensated for that, great. If not, no big deal. I've made somebody's life better.
Yeah.
And the money will come because of those things.
that people can sense that, and people know that. I mean, say I have the best cookie in the world, I just want to share it with you.
Yeah.
If I go up to you like, hey, I've got this cookie. Hey,
give me $5.
I know. I'm just gonna share it with you. You're not gonna be like, no, I don't want it. Like you're gonna want it anyway because it's delicious and it helps. If it's a healthful cookie.
It's a healthy.
I actually happen to have a healthy cookie right here, and I just want to share it with people because I love the taste of it and I love what it does for me.
Yeah.
So, and then the fact that I'm getting paid to do that as well, awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So talk about your own, other than you have personal experience, I guess, third party personal experience.
I'm sorry, man. I have to say this because what you just said meant a lot to me. The company does exactly what it's probably going to attract people like you, which is one of those things that's kind of important to me. We mentioned on the show currency. It's called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
a little bit
people were asking, why are you telling people about that? I mean, there's going to be lots of millionaires that are made from that. And I'm just like, because it can make a difference in people's lives, and you can escape the matrix.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a point in time, and if I'd have known, I would have shared it then. When it was 0.00 cents.
Yeah.
And you could have spent $100, and right now you'd be
sitting at $100 million.
Yeah,
Bitcoin has gone way out.
But this isn't that. But this is that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's
this
gaining.
type of stuff.
It's gaining big. I mean,
right.
They're now starting to use oils at Vanderbilt. They're now starting to use oils at I've seen integrative oncology offices where they're using oils, even if not for their treatments, just for stress relief and mood uplifting in their patient's office, like in waiting for people.
Yeah.
Or the coworkers or the employees have just given off the charts.
Well, if you think, here's something interesting. So we talked about kombucha on an episode. This dates back 2,000 years to China when they started brewing this as fermented tea.
Yeah.
And oils date back thousands of years. It's an didn't think about that till now, but it's been around basically since water.
Yeah.
And we have a whole documented history. Now we've got a company that has integrity that's doing it right.
I love it.
It's now let's talk about this briefly. I don't want to shine too much light on this, but are there other companies doing this now too? I mean,
there are other companies. There's, from the top of my head, there's like Eden's Garden, Young Living. doTERRA and Young Living are actually super close to each other in Utah. And I think doTERRA came about after Young Living. I'm not exactly sure the reasons why, but a couple people kind of left and started their own company.
Yeah.
And if I didn't love doTERRA so much, and if doTERRA didn't exist, I'd totally use them.
Yeah.
But I just love the set and standard because to me it's just higher.
Yeah.
And I like the leaders more.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mommy does it there.
Yeah.
My mom does it there.
my mom slings oil there.
If my mom did Young Living, I don't know.
What'd you do? Yeah. It's like my mother's an Auburn fan. I'm a Bama fan. Imagine that. Yeah. So,
I think it's interesting though. You're talking about the set and standard of medicine though, because people will tell me, they'll be like, well, essential oils is so new. If you've ever read the Bible, in Genesis chapter 2 talks about the Garden of Eden, a land flowing with milk, or it was like the land of Havilah. It was describing where the Garden of Eden was, and it said that it had aromatic resin there.
Yeah.
That's
What is
exactly,
aromatic resin?
That's
It's
exactly
oil,
an
yeah.
essential oil. Frankincense can be an aromatic resin. Melaleuca could be an aromatic resin.
Right.
Well,
Copaiba or something like that.
well, the thing too is again we date this back. I mean, to China, Egypt. I mean, they using this stuff for years for all kinds of medicinal purposes, right?
You know what they actually did in Egypt? That was very interesting with frankincense. Is they'd make it into a cone-shaped hat, and then as the sun beat down on them, it would go over their skin.
Oh,
and
So
they-
what's the benefit of that? I mean, what's the benefit of frankincense of doing that? What is that?
frankincense it's called the king of oils for a reason. It's got just so many healthful benefits. I mean, one of the best anti-inflammatory substances you can take besides copaiba. It's actually one of the new.
Can you ingest frankincense, or is it
Yes.
all topical? Really?
With doTERRA? Yes.
You couldn't say you couldn't sign off on any other, but doTERRA you can't.
Yeah, I would on doTERRA, but I just don't know the standards
Yeah.
for other companies. I do because I've seen doTERRA. I've been there.
Well, we have a guest, the first episode of this new show, Stephanie. She before, like when I was helping her film her show, which I got to start doing that again. She takes peppermint oil and puts it on her tongue.
Mhm.
Right.
We're actually going to do a little bit.
So
of that.
yeah, cool. So
Awesome.
anyway, yeah. So your personal story, I mean, you get tied in. But for you though, I mean, you have a sibling and all that. But for you personally, what is it other than that?
Oh, what do I use it for personally?
yeah.
Well, I mean, frankincense was one of the, because when I got into the oils, I was a very angsty young man, kind of depressive, kind of like whatever. And I would use oils to definitely for mental health and regeneration. Frankincense was my depressive state, like uplifting oil. I'd use it for that all the time, for its meditation, and when I was feeling but just put it on my wrist and sit there and inhale it or diffuse it in my room. Also using peppermint every day or
Do
something.
you need a diffuser for these, or can
You don't need them. You can just smell them.
Yeah.
You can just literally take the cap off and smell it.
Awesome.
But if you want to get it all throughout the room, then the diffuser is the way to go.
So Leslie Thomas says helps my kiddos with the ear infections, and I've heard their ear infections. What oil would that be, Leslie, that you use, and what do you recommend for that?
I've heard for ear infections you can use Melaleuca, but using oils around orifices is very interesting. So you don't want to put the oil inside your ear.
You put it like outside.
You put it outside, kind of underneath a little bit, or you like if you're using oil for a sty on your eye. I didn't know this when I first got into oils.
Did you actually put it in your eye?
No, I told a friend to put it in her eye. I didn't do it. I was on a
Guinea pig.
I know. I was like, hey guys, I've studied this. All right.
Yeah.
I was like, just take the frankincense and drop it right there, and the sty will go away. And like after 10 minutes, she's like, my eye feels like it's burnt. It's about to explode. What should I do? And I was like, I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. The question I have is, I have the puffy eyes. You know, I have these dark rings under my eyes, and even when I get a lot of sleep, they got really, really dark in my 20s.
Yeah.
And it's been about the same the whole time. And I know that, you know, there's something I can do for it, you know, because they weren't there when I was a teen, you know, but right around 2021, started getting really puffy and dark. And then there's periods of of my 30s where I didn't have it. So is there like any sort of oil that you can, you know, for like inflammation under your eyes or anything?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you just want to make sure to not get it, like I said, in your eyes.
Right.
I think something.
Just answer the damn question.
Yeah, something like that.
I heard the eye shit.
Hey, shut up.
you sound like a politician.
Hey, shut up, man.
I heard you tell your girlfriend to put it in my eye. I know what it is.
Whatever. I'm leaving.
I'm out of here.
Mom.
Mommy.
But no, I think that frankincense or something like sandalwood. I don't know if it is inflammation. Like I would want to know what it is that's making it's causing it, and then I think like frankincense or sandalwood, something that's really good for your skin, would be awesome for that.
Okay.
What about like age spots?
Age spots,
Because white folk get age spots, and I'm already getting them at 45.
Well, that's oxidation, though.
Yeah, but it's also not using sunscreen.
I've got a friend that uses oils for age spots, and they actually come up with several different blends of oils. They find oils that do the same kind of things, and they'll put it into a blend to make it a more specialized, specific blend of oil. And they have one called Immortelle, and I have a friend that uses it for that, and he loves it. He says it helps so much. He uses it on his face because he has He has like facial spots.
So hold on, tell me that again. What oil? did
It's
you
called
say?
Immortel.
Okay, is that? I mean, is it a blend of?
It's a blend of different oils.
Okay.
It's got like 7 or 8 different oils in it.
So yeah, Leslie says she was the one that talked about helps her kiddos with ear infections. She rub frankincense behind the ears. Definitely not in. Is what she
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
So-
definitely not in.
But I tell you, Colin knows. We talked about this one episode. I had allergy, and so I wear a breathe right strip at night. But sometimes when it's really bad, when allergy season's really kicked up, I put a little drop of peppermint oil on my nose, and boom, it opens up right up.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder, that would be awesome if you could get on some sort of regimen that would like kind of catapult, because we know that your immune system is trying to figure out what your tolerance was when you were a kid, because you didn't have these issues when you lived here before. It's after you moved back. From
well,
California.
they were worse, moved away, and they came back, and I still had to, but not as bad. So I think over time my body adjusted, but needed to be out of the environment to correct
to recover. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Anyway, so let's see. Ginger says, Ginger Marie, I use 2 drops of peppermint oil in my water daily. I learned very early that peppermint helps soothe my chronic upset stomach.
Yeah,
cool.
See, that's one
Didn't
thing.
know that.
That's one thing I love about Eastern medicine, is that one oil can do 10 different things.
Yeah.
So if I buy a bottle of peppermint, I can use it for slight addictions. Like say I was a smoker, some people use peppermint to kick their smoking habit. It's good for against nicotine addiction. Or I could use it for my headaches, my migraines. I could use it for halitosis. I could use it for a stomach upset. But I mean, if I buy Claritin, I can use it for my allergies. My allergies only, and it's probably going to have side effects.
It's going to have.
I don't know if you could tell when you came in. There was a scent of peppermint out there. You may or may not have, because you smell these all the time.
I've got a super sniffer, man. I can...
So because I sprayed the air freshener that I made, the distilled water and peppermint and lavender out in the carpet, and that's nice because it's natural. The kids can play on the ground, the dogs can, and it's not going to hurt them. So
yeah.
I have another question.
Yeah.
For people that work out, they deal with just a part of the process of them getting that adaptation and the muscle and everything. Even people that are just trying to be more athletic, and the training that it takes. It's going to take. You're going to take on a lot of just inflammation and lactic acid and all that. And then you have old guys like us that, the wear and tear of Krav Maga and powerlifting.
Where's my back pill?
My back pill.
I'm freezing my baguettes off.
I can't do the back bridge like I need to. So you have that sort of inflammation. Is there anything that are in the oil communities that would remedy or help with that?
Absolutely.
Especially recovery.
You have oils. Because I'm a rock climber. That's my go-to workout. So I when I go to the gym, I see a lot of people that have either what's the joint pain that you get?
Arthritis.
They'll get arthritis in their hands. They'll get ligament and tendon pain. But they have oils that actually help with regrowing your ligaments. They have oils that help with tendon repair. So like something like lemongrass would be awesome for that. More
Dude, I'm loving this guy, man. Why did we have him on? He should have been the first show.
I know. I have a feeling he's going to be coming back very soon.
I would love to come back.
Dude, we need to have a sec, like just every now and then, just have him come back and be like, oh,
I'll come and spraying you guys with a spray bottle or something.
That would be awesome.
They actually come up with a blend called Deep Blue, and I love it for working out because I can put it on my knees if I'm gonna run that day or something.
Right.
And it's a soothing. It's got like wintergreen, peppermint, blue tansy in it. All these oils that are really great with anti-inflammation, and you can put it. I mean, some people use it for intense migraines,
right?
But its typical use is for tennis elbow or back pain.
Right.
I actually got into a car wreck and I came out of my seat and hit my windshield.
Did you not have your seatbelt on?
He did not.
Mom's listening now, so
I did. I did. It was a loose seatbelt.
I think you're lying.
I was coming off of
is there an oil for lies?
Let's just keep going. I was coming off of Vietnam Vets, getting on the conference drive, and that little turn there, whatever. And I just wasn't looking, and ran into someone that was waiting to turn right there.
So it was your fault.
Yeah, it was my fault. And I know.
And Mom is just now finding out this.
No, she knew. She knew. But anyway, I got like a pinch. I had like chronic pain in my shoulder, And I think part of it was because I hit my head, but also part of it was the stress from getting into a wreck, and I like didn't have the money to really fix it, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I had this like pinched nerve feeling in my shoulder for several weeks, and when I'd go to work, I do this.
Like Batman. Like, you know how Batman, he can't turn his
Yeah, I know, like, oh, George Clooney Batman. Yeah. And it was terrible, but I used like wintergreen and that deep blue stuff, and that got rid of that pain.
Let me catch up on a couple of comments. So Shaylee Martin says 1 drop of peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you think about it. I mean, essential oil is insanely
concentrated.
Concentrated.
It's the oil, deep blue.
And deep blue.
So it's the oil from the plant, so it is the most concentrated form, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, well, what essential oils is
it's
like,
an oleoresin, right?
Yeah, it's natural aromatic. They're all on molecular level. It's natural aromatic compounds found from the roots, stems, leaves, bark, and sap of plants. So, I mean, you look at a plant very closely. Like if you look at a peppermint leaf, there's a bunch of little sacs all over the leaf, and those are the essential oil compound. So, I mean, it's distilling that solely from the peppermint is going to make it very, very strong. It's estimated, because oils are so molecularly dense, which I figured you guys would like this because it's kind of like sciencey or whatever. I'm not a chemist, but this is just what I've learned.
You're not? You play one on TV, though, right?
Let me get out my microscope. I counted these out. But it's estimated that there's 1,000,000 trillion molecules in a drop of essential oil.
Oh my God.
1 drop. So 1,000,000 trillion molecules. How many molecules is that to each cell in your body? What is there, 90 million
There's
cells?
90 billion.
90 billion cells. So is that 30,000 molecules to each cell or something like
that?
Yeah.
So to me, that like I'm excited, almost like I'm on the coffee from last week. When you have anything that you put it in your mouth, it has to be filtered through the liver, the stomach. And it takes a while for that process to past the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that you put on your skin, it's a blood-brain barrier breach, instantaneously, without going through the GI tract and all that. Well, I say all that to say this, then it's exacerbated about that point. Like it's already in the molecular delivery before you put it on your skin.
Yeah.
Like that, that explains why it's so fast and why it's so effective.
It's so effective for topical use.
So your mom says, put peppermint on the bottom of your feet before a workout to increase oxygen in the blood and endurance. That makes sense.
I love mom. I love mom.
And let's see. So Leslie Thomas says, deep blue is my jam, best stuff ever. And then Gail Williams says, again, I have deep blue in my backpack. And then I'm sorry if I destroy your name, Adriana
Lanscron. I remember Adriana.
I love the deep blue lotion. It's the best.
I know.
So those are the comments.
So deep blue is really important.
It sounds like it. Jesus. I mean, you should have seen all these comments that came in when he mentioned it.
Yeah,
so here's what I'll say real quick. If you kind of like what we're talking about, share us on your page. If it doesn't, don't feel like you have to, but do it. Comment. We love all the comments. If anybody has anything.
I feel like you should feel like you have to.
Yeah. Share the cookie. Share the cookie with your neighbors.
Share the cookie.
If you have a particular element or something you want to know about, like we're asking, we have him captive. We get to ask these things.
Ask him comments.
Put it in the comments, and we'll address that. So kind of getting back. So I have telling all the elements. So I have a degenerative disc in my neck. Nothing really I can do about that, but I have surgery for them. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'll just go Batman style if I have to, let it fuse. But thankfully, my physician is an osteopathic physician, so he blends traditional with Eastern medicine. He's an acupuncturist and all that. It sounds like to me, you probably kind of know what the answer is, but it flares up occasionally, not all the time.
Yeah.
What would you suggest?
I mean, for something like that, if it's mostly just inflammation, I would use some of those top hitting inflammation oils like that frankincense, or actually copaiba.
What the hell is copaiba?
It's awesome. I want to talk with it. Or talk about it once he gets back in. But it's one of the new #1 oils for inflammation. I'm so excited about it.
Well, cool. I want you to share that. I'll share this comment real quick. Ginger Marie again. Cha-ching. This is exactly why I've started listening. The knowledge, openness, and backup resource links you share. You all rock. So Colin will want to hear that when he gets back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Copaiba is amazing, Gail says. So
Yeah, Copaiba is awesome. I went to the doTERRA convention. They have an annual convention where they just kind of they release new products. They do some housekeeping where they'll show all their stats and numbers, which I love that about doTERRA. They keep it all out in the open.
Yeah.
As far as like what they're doing with the company.
It would be so easy for them to hide because they're a private company.
Because they're a private company, not regulated by the FDA. They're completely debt free. They don't have to go through anyone else. So they could do whatever they wanted, but they do. Yeah. They keep it all open.
I heard it all, asshole. Frankincense and the deep blue is really good for the inflammation.
Inflammation or Copaiba, like we were talking about.
Okay, cool.
So tell me, what is Copaiba? Where is it from? Why have I not heard of this before?
Well, actually, Copaiba has been known by doctors and medical personnel for a long time. And
have you ever heard of it?
I have not.
Okay.
You know why they probably haven't used it?
Because it would eliminate the drug. Yeah.
Because
they need you to come back. They need the repeat business.
It's so effective.
I have 3 oils I gotta have.
We'll get you set up after the show.
He's got a card reader. He's going to take
No, but Copaiba, it's a South American tree that grows in Brazil mostly, from my understanding. It grows in Brazil, and it's about 200 feet tall, a really, really big tree, and it produces a sap. And the sap is where they extract the oil from, and you can smell it right here. It's kind of like got a smoky-esque flavor. You can actually put it on your wrist.
We're going to pass out on air.
Yeah, I was going to say. Copaiba is a wonderful oil to use instead of a BCP oil. It's called an
It's an earthy scent. I love it.
Wow, very earthy.
It's a replacement for it's an endocannabinoid substance.
I love that smell.
So yeah,
I do too.
You know,
cologne.
So okay, tell me that again. What did you just say?
It's a great endocannabinoid.
What is
substance.
that? What the hell does that mean?
So you know, like a hemp oil, something like that. It's an endocannabinoid.
Okay.
Well, it's something
Explain
to be. Well, with your endocannabinoid system, it's like one of the motherboard systems in your body. It regulates hormones. It goes directly with your lymphatic and endocrine system.
Okay.
And that is the main pull for people coming out with marijuana oil or hemp oil or something, because it's got this BCP in it, beta carotenoids. And that's the main beneficial factor of hemp oil. But it also has THC, which goes with your psychoactive part and induces hallucinations. So with your endocannabinoid system, there's 2 receptors. There's there's a 1 receptor and the 2 receptor. Well, the 1 receptors all appear in your head. Yeah. And it's all with your hallucinations, and that's what happens when you smoke marijuana. It's what happens when you take hemp oil or something like that. But there's a 2nd receptor, and that one is the one that does most of the benefits. It does your digestive benefits. It does your endocrine benefits. Copaiba is so interesting because it only affects the 2nd receptor. So it's completely legal. It's not like
that's crazy.
It's not like marijuana, but it's got all the medical benefits. So it's very strong. It's very versatile. You can use it for almost. It's actually more beneficial for inflammation than frankincense. It's the #1 beneficial.
How the hell did you say it earlier?
It's like the grand finale.
He trying to time everything. I'm trying to time it. It's all
I wanted
about
to introduce it. And I wanted to set it up.
He's like, damn, why'd you ask the question? Frankincense.
You can.
Everything goes back to damn frankincense.
I know, it's just awesome. Jesus used it. I don't know. But I mean, I have a friend that used it for muscle pain, but then I had another friend that used it for like eczema and like skin clearing. Yeah. So you have it's so diverse, and then you can also use it for cellular health. It's really, really suggested to put 2 drops of it under your tongue every morning for better cellular health.
So eczema. So I'm guessing just because of what you just said, that's a eczema is the theory is it's autoimmune. And the liver is a big component of that issue.
Liver or your
so
gut.
So is this a liver?
It would be awesome for your liver. It's kind of like but I would, if you want to detox your liver, I'd suggest like a citrus oil that's got limonene in it, like lemon or wild orange or grapefruit.
Right.
Because that's what's which that didn't really make sense to me when I first got into oils. I was like, if I want something to be alkaline, lemon isn't an acid,
And
when
your
you-
body is alkaline.
when you put it in your body, it's
the
alkaline.
residue is alkaline.
Yes.
So Shaylee says, I like to think of copaiba as a brother to frankincense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of a neat way
It's
to
kind of
think.
like the cooler younger brother to frankincense.
In my mind, I'm trying to combine all these
Yeah, I'm trying to put
that are going to
it's
help
a
me
lot.
with my athletic.
So here you were saying
lifestyle.
something about, because people know that I was in law enforcement. Of course, I learned a lot about drugs because I was a DUI
He
officer.
did DMT.
I did drugs.
You know about.
Mushrooms.
So what happens is the synaptic gap.
You did them.
Yeah, the synaptic gap in between the receptors. So as you activate those, you take drugs to stimulate those, it becomes thinner and thinner, and then you have to take more and more to activate those
Right.
receptors. So what you're saying is that it only affects one part of the synaptic gap and doesn't thin it.
Does
Yeah.
it
Finish.
will you become immune? Or
Yeah, you're going to build up an immunity because you have to everything, even black seeds. You want to kind of cycle off and then back on because your body kind of builds up not necessarily unhealthy immunity, but it gets used to it being on board. It's like, okay, I don't, it just
Right.
it can be here and live here. So what is the research that you found with doTERRA that
Makes it not so
Yeah.
you don't become immune to it.
right? Because obviously you guys too, you have to use you're in the repeat business, which is great
Mhm.
for you guys.
I smell good.
I do too.
Yeah, you do
It's
smell
great.
awesome.
So, I mean, tell me, obviously you want people to come back just like toothpaste and toothbrushes. You're always going to do that, right? Unless you want to be nasty.
Oh, nasty mouth,
Yeah.
yuck mouth.
Gross.
But for me to continue to come back, I'm taking this for 6 months to a year. Am I still going to receive the overall benefits? Now I know that reparative things are going to occur
Mhm.
as we go, but am I going to build up an immunity to it?
I don't think so. I've never heard of anyone using oils. I haven't done research on that specifically, but I've never had anyone say, "Man, the peppermint's not working for me anymore."
Yeah.
I've never had anyone say, "Man, I put on the frankincense, but I'm still bleeding." I like it. I don't know.
I'm still stiff.
Yeah, I'm still. But and when I've been using oils for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be a plenty enough time to grow up an immunity to lavender.
Yeah.
But when I still take it, I fall straight to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So as far as research goes, I don't have
You
anything.
take it
on
every
that.
night?
Not every night, but I take it enough. I take it like
right.
a lot. So,
Right. Cool,
Quite a bit.
cool.
or I'll diffuse it or something. I actually have a couple oils I want to give you guys as a test that I do for everyone.
Love that copaiba smell, dude.
Man, I like oils too.
It
'cause
smells like a cologne.
they're
It
not all
does.
they're not all fragrancy. They're
Yeah.
not all like
It's mild though.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like kind of manly. The copaiba.
It is.
I like
Yeah.
Like I have to have a spicy cologne if I'm going to wear one.
Mhm.
Like I borrowed one of his and it was full because he's white and he don't like spicy.
Ooh, that milk flavored cologne is too spicy. Oh,
You know,
I love spice. He's wrong with that.
white people like shit is like ocean breeze. I'm like, no, I can't wear
No, I
that.
like spice. Too.
But this smells like that cologne a
It
little
does,
bit.
yeah.
It's
So
amazing. I love it.
Shaylee again. Hey, welcome, Sonnet. Shaylee says I've used essential oils since I was 2 years old, and they still work for me.
yeah. So
Okay.
you have other people that have grown up.
I like that. That's confirmation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So you were about to share.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I've got peppermint and wild orange here, and we're gonna do a test to show you guys the 3 ways that we use essential oils typically and that are the most effective.
Yeah.
Of course, there's
Dude,
a
have you
fourth
ever
way.
been so excited before?
No, dude, this is great. I'm all antsy.
It's a test. All right.
And he's
So,
so confident too. He's like, he's holding it up. And I'm sitting there looking at the bottle. Like,
Hey, Caleb, welcome, brother.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
so hold out your hand. Hold out one of your hands. And we're just gonna put 1 drop of peppermint. Oh,
He
I
got
got
two.
two.
I got to get you. I'll give you 2. 2.
2-2.
2.
You give
All
me
right,
a 2-2.
so now that you've got that,
Yeah.
take
Ooh,
your
that
other
smells
hand and put it in the drops.
With a
The
thumb.
thumb?
with a thumb, just like that. And now swipe it. And now take it and touch it on the roof
Roof
of your mouth. Now take it out. You're all good. Now rub it together. And we're going to add 1 more oil in for a little bit more. I love the blend of wild orange and peppermint. It's my favorite. All right, so now.
He's doping us. He's going to try to steal our money or something.
And so once the room goes black, you're fine. But no, now take your hand.
That means it's working.
And
So I don't
rub it
put this in my mouth, right?
No, you don't have to do that one. Just rub it and put it on the back of your neck. And so that's the 3 ways that we're using oils right there. And now take the rest and smell it.
Transdermal, taking it.
Take a couple deep
Oh
breaths.
my God.
So that's going to wake you up if nothing else does. Like, I mean, that peppermint is going. If you had any sort of nasal blockage, it's going to completely. his pupils just his pupils just went like.
Caleb said, "Good old roofies."
So I made you guys some brownies, and we're going to try these.
So here's something interesting. Let me segue offshoot here a second. Caleb Bradford and I, we actually both in real estate, but we met on a real estate board, online, whatever you call that. What is it? Chat room. And we both were launching a podcast during the same time. So we kind of motivated each other to launch a podcast. Right. So he goes, we go way back together. So Caleb, I'm glad you joined me, man. Yeah. And I'm happy to hear about your success with work and whatnot too. Any case, so that's amazing. I want to think peppermint and the orange would smell that way.
But they smell so good together.
You get the orange and then you get that bite of the peppermint.
Dude, not that I was foggy earlier, but this clarity came through. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
that's great.
Like mildly alert.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's one good thing about peppermint is it's a natural kind of stimulant. But so you can put it on, like when my mom said, put it on the bottoms of your feet before you work out to kind of get a little bit more of a drive to work out, a little bit more motivation. And I love essential oils because I mean they have physical benefits as well as mental. You're just talking about fogginess of mind going away. That was kind of what essential oils started off using, aromatherapy, and just to get a mental state. But now we realize, hey, this also works for other things. So it's awesome. I love it. And you'll also feel a little bit of a tingle on the back,
of my neck. Yeah, for sure.
From that peppermint.
So did you say, I may have missed this because I was so engrossed in the smell. Did you say what the benefit of these two together? What?
Oh, that's for me, the wild orange and peppermint. There's several benefits to them. But peppermint and wild orange is one of the most uplifting, good oil. It's very happy smelling, and peppermint's that natural stimulant. So together,
that's what Pharrell was taking.
Get out of here, Pharrell.
That's what he was taking when he took. I'm so happy.
He's just in the back with his diffuser. For real, Pharrell.
Is it Pharrell or is it Pharrell?
Pharrell. So what would be mixing those? Tell us.
Mixing those. For a natural kind of like stimulant, it's this very mentally awakening. And you're going to be woken up. You're going to get some more oxygen in your body from the peppermint. You're going to get wild orange has been known to also fight against depression and anxiety. So if you're feeling any of that before you take a test or something, maybe take some wild orange and peppermint together. If you're feeling a little bit lazy or whatever at work, it's a case of the Mondays.
So putting it in our mouth.
That's going to open up all your nasal passages.
Gotcha.
So, but it's also going to help with if you have an upset stomach. So,
I love it. I love it.
Isn't it awesome? But actually, I brought you guys a gift. You can fight over which one gets what. But I've got wild orange and peppermint here for you guys.
It's just whatever's on.
Yeah, whatever. That's how it was meant to be.
I already have peppermint. That's all right. I'm just kidding.
God dang it! I have the orange.
Did you want the peppermint?
No.
You upset? We're sweet.
No. It's
Why'd you do that? See,
I caused some division. Well, I encourage you to get your other peppermint that you have and smell it in comparison.
No, it's definitely different. I mean, it's completely different in smell. This is a different. Yeah.
That was one reason. Very same thing that we just did without the other element.
Yeah, definitely. You're not going to get like a tingle in the back of your neck because that was from the peppermint. But I mean, that wild orange, and put it in your water in a glass cup. Okay. Put wild orange in your water. It'll help detox your body and awesome.
You know what I'm going to do, especially with the thing that you were talking about, how many millions of molecules are in one drop. I'm actually going to put it in my distilled water. I put Himalayan sea salt for the naturally occurring minerals. And then I put a little bit of lemon, not much. Just to raise the alkalinity.
Less is more.
Right.
Oils.
Just raise the alkalinity up to neutral.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put that in there and then shake it all up. And I'm excited.
That's going to taste awesome. I use grapefruit or wild orange or lime or lemon, whatever citrus oil I have to put in my water.
Right.
Like I said, make sure it's a glass cup, or you can even use a Yeti.
Yeah, because
I've got some grapefruit water in my Yeti right now.
Right.
And because oils will leach plastic.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but also Yeti has a really thick plastic lid, so it's pretty okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's not sitting in there.
It's not sitting on there.
And you could always use.
I can always take off the lid or use a metal straw or something.
So Caleb says, "Glad to be here, brothers. Studio's looking legit. Thanks, man. Keep it up. Your consistency is inspiring. Hope you guys are blessed with success and the presence of God every day. Thank you, Caleb, so very much. God dang, there was a point I was going to make here.
You should have made a note, bitch.
I didn't.
Yeah, I've been making notes.
It's this damn oil. It's got me off.
This oil. Oh my God! Oh, I forgot to put it down. Damn you, oil.
Damn you.
My plan has worked. I just walk out with like a handful of bills. Or something.
He's just going to take over. You know, he's pirated the show.
So now it's my show.
It's been since your oil's here today. That was Colin, and I am taking over.
He's dragging us out by anyway, so talk a little bit about, okay, I want you to share, and then let this flow however it needs to. Mm-hmm. Share about, you have a team, right?
Yeah, I do have a team.
Tell me about that.
I do have a team.
How's that?
We have weekly free classes. I mean, they're all educational. Our main desire as a team is to share and educate.
Yep.
Like I was talking about that cookie earlier. I want to share with you guys the cookie, but I also want to tell you how it works and how you can get involved in using the cookie at home. Mm-hmm. We're very much focused on education. I mean, we'll do different topics every week.
Right.
And we'll do anything from getting rid of toxic household cleaners to doing cooking with oils to doing studies on single oils. But mostly we just have we'll have weekly classes over here in Hendersonville. And if anyone's interested in joining those, you can find, like I said, my name and number and stuff in the bottom.
Put in the show notes, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. But
cooking with oils, would heat change the integrity of the oil?
Heat intensifies oils. So if you're using oregano, you want to take your oregano oil and take out a toothpick and just dip it in there and then stir it in, like even for a big whole pot. It's very strong. I have a friend that she found out the hard way that heat intensifies oils because she drew a hot bath for herself, and she was like, "Man, I'm going to add some peppermint in my bath and loosen up." And so she added 4 drops of peppermint. You know that tingle?
Yeah,
right.
I made that mistake.
Yeah, can you
imagine?
I get hot.
Ooh, you only make that mistake once.
This does not feel good.
My balls are on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Shriveled up.
Fire.
Shriveled up and fell off.
My balls taint and shaft.
And imagine that pepper.
I couldn't imagine.
That's what I did.
My neck is actually pretty warm right now.
Because I do a couple of drops of lavender oil, and then I was like, peppermint's not very strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was like, man, I'm kind of getting warm, but it's not the water.
Right.
Ooh, what's going on there?
So with we were talking about earlier, your oils that you use are the carrier oils. If you ever have a reaction to oils, if you get it in your eyes, get it in your ears, something like that, to where it is very unpleasant, or if you get it all over yourself. I mean, if you touch yourself.
What was that again?
Yeah, if you get it all over yourself. Then use some of that coconut oil.
Yeah.
doTERRA has fractionated coconut oil, so it always stays in a liquid state.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to mix with your oils. Use fractionated coconut oil, almond oil, olive oil. Not fatty. Don't use vegetable oil.
Yeah,
of course.
Don't use vegetable oil. Just for people out there that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny you talk about cleaning products. We do distilled vinegar, distilled water in a bottle. That's what we use to clean our counters and all that stuff off. We don't use harsh chemicals. So
yeah, cool. We use cleaners at Starbucks.
Yeah,
I always wear gloves when I use it because we have one partner he's been in the company for a very long time, and he's got an outbreak of eczema on his fingers that he can't shake because
from those chemicals,
from the cleaners that have ammonium in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually have a disinfectant that I made too. Melaleuca oil.
Yeah.
There's some other thing, vinegar. I forget what else is in there, but that's what I use as a disinfectant as opposed to using bleach and things like that. So, and it works. Yeah. I mean, they use it actually. There was I don't recall exactly. It was somewhere in Europe. There was an outbreak of something sort of like MRSA. They were trying all these heavy chemicals and it wasn't working. They came in with basically tea tree oil.
Yep.
And diluted it down in distilled water, clean, and it killed it.
Yeah, there's a blend of oil called On Guard that doTERRA makes. It's called the Protective Blend, and it is so effective as a household cleaner. They took it into a toothpaste. They took it into hand foaming soap. Like doTERRA has already made these products so that people are like, oh, I don't want to have to home make my own stuff.
Yeah.
doTERRA's already done that. They don't have deodorant though. I wish that they did, but they don't.
They probably will.
They probably will here
They just need
soon.
to contact me.
Yeah, I know. They just need to contact Scott with his homemade recipe.
Scott.
Dr. Scott.
Maybe you need to something.
So Ginger says, Maria again says, perfect. I've been looking for someone to mentor me in holistic healing and or essential oil. I'm so excited. This episode was great. I'm extremely interested in natural cleaning products.
Yeah.
So Ginger, I'll in the show notes, and I may just private message you. I'll give you Elijah's contact information. Maybe you guys can work something out.
Yeah, we do. We do one-on-ones. We do, like I said, weekly team meetings for free. So if anyone's ever interested in learning about oils, learning about how to purchase their own, stuff like that, just let me know and we'll meet up.
Absolutely. This is.
I know, right?
It's great.
It's funny that earlier you were talking about how the lemon and I think you said, what was it?
Grapefruit?
Grapefruit.
Yeah.
Anything that's bitter to the tongue, it stimulates your liver. So putting lemon in your water, putting grapefruit in your water, lime, that's awesome, but you don't have those billions of molecules. You know what I'm saying? Like using oil is exciting me because
it's
not going to be it's not going to affect your teeth enamel and all that stuff.
No,
it's eliminating some of the issues with the other, but also intensifying the actual effect you're trying to have.
The thing about this,
that's awesome. Yeah,
for me though is, and this is where your expertise and being the wellness advocate for this is, it's actually a bit overwhelming to think about all the things that I'd want to use oil for.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm not sure where to start. Okay, I just need to start with one thing.
Well, that's why I want to use mine for the inflammation thing, because I'm just still so active, and inflammation is just so high. I mean, I don't stop pushing.
Yeah. So you need something to help those joints, help that back pain,
and then just the recovery. You know what I mean? Like if you can intensify, not without going down a weird road of something that's illegal. The main reason people, what's he gonna say next?
Yeah.
The main reason people take steroids in sports where they don't look different is because of the recovery.
Yeah.
Like fighters and stuff like that. They go to they do a 10 to 14 week camp because a lot of that training is going to take a lot of rest.
Yeah.
So they train hard for a day and a half, and then they take a day and a half off.
Yeah.
So it's really 5 days if you do, or 5 weeks of or 2 or 3 weeks of rest, because that is just so grueling. And then they have to rest the last week and a half, or they will be their repair will be during the fight.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of rest that's involved. So they take steroids so that they can intensify the recovery and then get back to more training, get more of that adaptation stuff that they need for repetition that they can utilize in their flow state when they're fighting in the fight. Because if you're nervous or stressed out, it's like what you were saying earlier, it made you calmer. Is that a word? Made you more relaxed. Made you more relaxed.
We're like Shakespeare. Shakespeare made up words.
Eyeball, bloodstream. But you have these things that are natural that these guys, if they knew about it, they could really benefit heavily, and then not have to worry about being. If you get banned in the UFC or in boxing, it's a 4-year ban.
So
that's 4 years you don't get to make money.
That could be the end of your career too, depending on how old you are.
Well, like you come back, you're rusty. George St. Pierre took a four-year hiatus and came back, and he won his fight barely. He had so much ring rust. I mean, he could have lost and then been done. Now he's going to be making money, but with this type of stuff,
with that sort of risk factor, why take that risk?
Why? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I really, really love some of these concepts.
And that's one thing I do love about this new oil, the copaiba.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have teens that are smoking or anything, and then they're using the excuse, I use it for the medical benefits.
Yeah.
Well, why not use something that has all the same medical benefits that's not illegal?
Yeah. Well,
just to play your cards safe, whether you believe it's right or not, just so you don't mess up.
Well, also
Right.
when you're smoking it, that's a carcinogenic. You're putting, I mean,
putting smoke
Right.
in your body.
yeah, that is
Right.
not healthy. You're putting smoke into your lungs.
You're lighting a fire and then breathing it in.
yeah.
I don't know what the percentage is, and a lot of science, a lot of people don't know this, but science has proven it. I don't know what the percentage higher it is than cigarettes, but the carcinogenic and the smoke of weed is blah 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 more potent than smoke from tobacco.
And everyone knows how carcinogenic those are. So
Right.
you don't need to know the exact number. You just need to know, hey, it's
It's
more.
It's more than
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
And if you think about this for a second,
Yeah, guys, good to be here on the show. You know,
it can, I go hear some noise.
Put the mic down by your throat hole.
And they're smoking cigarettes through the hole. But if you think about it, if you think about that for a second, I mean, we obviously know chemicals and all the things that are in cigarettes are very harmful, right? But how much more potent this kind of tags into your point that the marijuana is, because we're seeing here now that the essential oils are so more impactful. A small little bit of oil goes a lot further, right?
Right.
So
And
that's probably why.
any bottle that you get should last you a good amount of time too. Like,
When you say good amount of time,
I mean,
because those are like $100 a bottle, right? I mean,
no, wild orange is $10 a bottle.
Yeah.
Peppermint's like 20, 24, 25 or something.
And the kebab, I see he's not going to.
Copaiba, it's like $40.
Yeah.
Which is not bad for a really, really good.
Potent.
And how long
health
would
menu.
that? I mean,
It depends on how often you're using it. That's why I tell people, use it in your diffuser a lot. Use it breathing it in. If you need to use it topically, then be sparing with it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can get away with using 1 to 2 drops topically for any sort of problem you're going to use oil for. And so you just don't need that many drops.
Right.
Just less is more. You're just not, or dilute it. I used to think that using a diluting agent would lessen the effect of the oil, but it actually does not. It does the opposite. So if you're using coconut oil, say you got like a handful of coconut oil and you use like a drop of peppermint, you think about it, it's an aromatic compound. So what's it doing on a molecular level when you put it on your skin? When you're putting on your skin, those molecules, since they're aromatic, they're flying and trying to fill up the space that they're in. But if you put it in a diluting agent, it traps those molecules down there onto your skin and gives it more time to absorb.
Whoa.
So isn't that cool?
That is super cool.
So I just learned that, and I've been in essential oils for 2 years. So,
dude, I will be a coconut
That makes
lathered
sense,
up
though.
son of a bitch.
that makes sense. It's like
Why are you so shiny all the damn time? Don't worry about it. I feel good.
that's
in your room later on.
yeah.
Why you got so much
Colin, what are you
coconut
doing
oil?
in there?
Don't even worry about it.
But that kind of makes sense. You're kind of putting a
Weird application technique you're using there, Colin.
you're kind of putting a tint over it, a bubble to hold it.
to keep it
That's
in.
awesome.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it's really great stuff. I mean, yeah, but if you ever come to like one of my classes and you open the door and I'm just sitting there like just dumping oil over my body, just leave. It's my own.
No,
personal
man,
class.
I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna judge it. I'm gonna observe it. I'm not even film it and put it online. Put it on YouTube.
Get some money.
make a gif out of it.
You like that Egyptian head scarf thing, which I think that's an awesome idea. But in application, I was like, what are they doing? Like, it's just dripping all over their face and everything.
Hey,
So
if everybody's doing it,
If everyone's doing it. Yeah.
So Patrick Melancon, I think is how you say his name. Which is better, coconut oil or safflower seed oils for topical dilution? I tend to lean toward coconut oil. I mean,
I think coconut oil, especially if it's fractionated. Because for one, it's just hard to use coconut oil if it's unfractionated. It's like hard to dilute it and spread it over your body because it's like a buttery.
Mine is. It's not fractionated, but every morning I have to pull and get it.
You gotta work
warm
it.
and yeah. So
or if you've ever done the thing where you put it in your mouth and like
yeah,
swish it around.
they
are
call
you
that
talking about oil pulling?
oil pulling. Yeah. So that's actually what I use. Coconut oil as my moisturizer for my face. I don't use any lotions or anything like that. It's all coconut oil. So
No wonder you look like a damn baby was born yesterday. I swear, when I first married, he's like, "Why are you cooing, man? Shut up!" I don't know why. It's weird.
I told a guy, there was a guy that I met at a meeting once. He actually used to be a past radio DJ here locally.
Or DGA.
DGA, whatever.
Yeah.
DJ here locally. And he said, he's the same age, but he looked like he was about 20 years older.
Right.
And he goes, God, what do you use as a coconut oil? He said, what do you sleep in it? Because
Man, it's interesting. When I went down to Jamaica, I've been down there a couple times just on mission trips and stuff like that. All those people look
mission
so
strip, right?
Speaking of weed,
speaking about oils, we went down there though, but they all look so young.
Yeah,
and it's because they have this healthy, like, even though they're living
Less
in third world
stress.
conditions. I mean, there's less stress. They're all just eating like fruits and vegetables and stuff, and what they can, and walking everywhere. And there's this one guy. What they do for us, because I mean, we were all like the white tourists, like we didn't know what we were doing. He was like, "Oh, you want a coconut?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, man." And so he would like shimmy up the coconut tree, like cut down 10, and then hop back down, do a backflip or something. I don't know. And we're like, "Dude, how old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 60 years old." And like, I couldn't climb the tree because it's just a pole. So like, I would have to like do this, and I was like, my arms are shaking and stuff.
And you're
like,
a climber.
Yeah, I'm a climber. This was before I rock climbed.
Oh, okay.
So
why didn't you just go along with it?
Just go along with it.
He's so honest, man. He's got so much integrity. That would have made the story better, but I wasn't climbing.
I wasn't climbing yet. That's what's got me into rock climbing. Jamaican climbers. That would have been cool.
Yeah. You gotta learn how to just run with it sometimes. Run with the lie.
So
my mom's watching those.
So
you go home. You know your ass wasn't climbing back then.
So tell people how to find you. Of course, we'll put this in the show notes or whatnot. Tell people how to find you, connect with you, all that stuff.
Yeah, Facebook, just my email, phone number. If you're really interested in meeting me in person, I work at Glenbrook Starbucks.
Yeah.
Hey, he just hit a plug for Starbucks.
Yeah, no.
You might get paid on that.
No, I won't.
They're good to me, but not that good.
No, not that good.
Here's your free coffee mug. Shut the hell up.
I already got so many. Make more drinks. No, but yeah, Facebook, email, phone number.
Yeah.
We've got a website. It's www.mitoterra/Elijah Perkins. So,
did you say you had an Instagram and Facebook?
I do have Instagram and Facebook.
So what's your Instagram and Facebook?
Elijah Perkins.
Okay.
Yep.
Both of them.
Real simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just my name. So I think my Instagram, it's like Elijah Perkins 39 or something, because there was another Elijah Perkins, I guess.
Oh, dude. Imagine there's another
Elijah Perkins.
I know. I was like, that's weird.
You were mad as hell too. You're like, damn, come on, man.
Who else has got this biblical name going on? I'm like,
why do I got to put a number on mine, man? This don't even mean nothing.
I don't like 39. What the hell is that? So we got to have you back on. There's so much more we could talk about.
I mean, there's a plethora of oil information that I could spend hours on.
Yeah,
so.
sure. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I can tell. I mean, I think we just hit the surface of a lot of this.
I'm impressed with how much you know. You know, it's like it's very inspirational, and like you just kind of grazed over it, but you do mission.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a really neat young man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
So, Colin. Okay. So this next week, we're doing the show on Monday,
right?
Instead of Tuesday. And then after next week, we'll be
Rev
back.
D,
Rev D's coming. She's going to talk about her book. She's going to talk about how she got to where she is being a reverend, and she's got an interesting story. She's very dynamic and phenomenal.
She's super dynamic. So
she'll be Monday, and then the next week we'll be back on our Tuesday schedule, unless we have and we give you notice. So that's what's happening this week. Colin, any final words?
Yeah, I do. There was a young lady over the weekend that might have changed the whole dynamic of how people approach fighting. I don't know how it happened. I'm kind of glad it happened, but people are misusing understanding flow state and understanding that you can stimulate someone's fear and doubt in themselves. Mm-hmm. And if you can stimulate someone's fear and doubt, you can kind of not really dictate, but they become more robotic.
Yeah.
And more reactive. And whatever plan you have to use your intelligence, and you have to relax, and you have to be able to think. So if I'm in a fight and I'm relaxed and I can think, it doesn't mean I'm going to win the fight. It just means I'm poised to win the fight.
Yeah.
So if I can affect you and make you reactive, then you are in your amygdala reptilian brain. You're no longer using your hypothalamus, and you're more reactive. You're trying to survive, in other words. And this young lady was so calm. She didn't use any warfare, like psychological warfare. and this was pretty much mastered by Muhammad Ali, and it's really changed my view on how people act. You know, try to have an effect on you. She was so calm. This woman even touched her face with a fist, didn't hit her, and she still stayed calm. She kept on repeating the mantra. She was pretty much priming herself from the time she started her camp, like I was talking about earlier, 10 to 14 weeks, to the time she stepped in the fight. And in her mind, she knew that she was going to drop her in a certain round.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have any doubt. And I say all that to say this. When you have certain things that you can repeat over and over and over again, that increases your state, your positive state, your flow state, and you can stay present and you can make decisions and not be reactive. And the reason why I don't like the term reactive, because it's not necessary most of the time. Most of the time, I don't have to react. I don't have to react to a lion coming in the room. I don't have to react to the fire alarm going off. I don't have to react to someone pulling out in front of me and me having to react instantaneously to keep from running into them. But I have to act in every moment. Acting is what you do most of the time. You're not playing a role. You're acting in the moment. So in that moment that someone comes up to me and does something tyrannical, I'm not sitting there saying, how did I react the last time? The last time I had something that was in this, that was similar to this, how did I do it then? No, I go into that situation like, how do I respond in this particular moment? What applies now? I know it sounds like I'm going off down a weird road, but what I'm saying is with these essential oils, when you prime in the morning and prime at night, you're raising your state aromatically, transdermally. You're doing things to heighten your flow state more often, and you get in the mode of acting more and reacting less. And then when it's time to react, when it's necessary, someone breaks in your house, someone's trying to, when you have to, boom and be reptilian, then you are. But all the other moments, you're making a decision. And I really do appreciate you, because what I want to tell you is you've added something to my prime. Like when I prime now, I want to add essential oils. This will be my first one. But I'm definitely going to add others. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to meditate. I always have something to look at that makes me laugh every morning. I don't start my day without laughing. I want to look at something that inspires me. I want to do something active, even if it's jumping jacks or pushing up, to move my body and get things moving. And then now I have this as well. Some essential oils. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, dude.
That was good. I was wondering how you're going to tie that back. No, what I'm saying is,
where the hell you going? I'm sick of this shit.
No. What I'm saying is, see, I was about. Fuck you.
No, I'm just playing.
No, what I'm saying is, I was going to see how you're going to tie that, because I knew that's probably where you're going, was tying it back, and it was beautifully said. So
thank you, man.
Absolutely. So any
last word?
Any last word?
Just get rid of your limiting beliefs. I mean, from what I was reading Napoleon Hill this morning, Think and Grow Rich, and it's just kind of inspiring me. And whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve.
Yeah, whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, the mind of a man can achieve with a positive mental attitude.
Yes. So I mean, just keep that in mind this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. So
I'll read the comment one more time. Eleanor Roosevelt, because I think it's perfect for what we're talking about here.
He meant the quote.
Yeah, what did I say?
Comment.
Well, she did make the comment. It's not
that's
a quote.
true. That's true.
She logged into her Facebook.
Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people.
I love it, man.
Until next week, I'm your host, Scott.
It's Colin.
It's Elijah.
Out. We're still live on Facebook. The audio podcast portion ended. Facebook, thank you guys so very much. YouTube, thank you so very much for all the comments, all the shares, and being interactive with the show. We greatly appreciate it. We went a little long today, but it's okay. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but we do that with guests. I mean, this was we couldn't keep this at an hour.
There was been no way.
We could have gone longer. So we thank you guys for hanging in. Whoever hung in through to the end, thank you so very much. And Again, the podcast will drop today at some point, so you can go back and listen to audio. You can watch the video again or see it on YouTube as well. So thank you guys so much. Love you guys.
Love you.
Peace out.